Well, welcome back, everyone. This morning, we're going to learn something about ourselves. You're going to learn something about yourself. It is being. Jean-Paul Sartre once wrote a book called Being and Nothingness. It was hailed as a masterpiece of existential thinking at the time, and it was truly thought-provoking. The theme was that existence precedes essence. Existence precedes essence. And our conscious decisions, the only decisions that we truly make according to Sartre, our conscious decisions could only be chosen based on concrete things that we perceive. The rest is nothingness. Thus, who we are is what we do. What we do is our essence. That's all I know about the book because, like everyone else, I just read the introduction, I skimmed the conclusion, and then I got Frank to, get me the cheat sheets from the frat. Oh, don't don't pretend that you didn't do something similar. Frank didn't get rich with just one customer. No, but however, even knowing as little as I do, the question arises. If we are limited by what our concrete existence is, then how could Jesus ask us to be perfect, as he does in the book of Matthew? Jesus did say to be perfect. In some Bibles, it is as perfect as your Father in heaven. How can that be? Physically, mentally, and emotionally, we are never perfect. Moreover, as we age, we often become less perfect. Was Jesus really this naive? Well, in keeping with my personal theory, the theory I came up with by myself, my theory is that Jesus often talked about spiritual things. So what I surmise is that it must be on a spiritual plane that Jesus was talking about coordinating our being and our becoming of our being. When we talk about who we are, we must remember that we are made in the image of God. And as Charles Fillmore pointed out, we therefore all have a divine spark, the Christ within. Our spiritual being is inherently good. That's our first unity principle. God did not design spiritual failures, and this includes you. What we strive for is a continual improvement of ourselves toward the spiritual being that we already are and intend to be. The chief call for this improvement is embedded in the Lord's Prayer. It calls for things to be on earth as it is in heaven. I think we've all heard that. It is the maturation process of our physical, mental, and emotional selves which allow us to become more perfect. Let's look at this a little bit longer. Physically, we never seem to reach our peaks. We always think when we were younger, we always thought we could do more, we could be more. We never reached our peaks. Well, except for Katie Ledecky. She's awfully good at that swimming thing. But at a point, whatever our peak was supposed to be, we certainly passed it. We find out that, as with all things, the natural laws of entropy and gravity affect us all. And it catches up to us. As we age, nothing looks as good and nothing works as well as it used to. But the benefits of age become patience and kindness. And I think those two, the physical and the patience and kindness that we evolve are related. They're linked. Mentally, the paradox is that when we make mistakes, we continue to learn, and our boundaries actually expand. According to Oliver Wendell Holmes, man's mind stretched to a new idea never goes back to its original dimension. It is only if we ignore what we learn that we fail. If we incorporate what we learn, we begin to separate thoughtful faith from nonsense. William Adams noted this, and he went so far as to say that faith is the continuation of reason. Emotionally, our struggles within ourselves and with our relationships should lead us to find compassion for ourselves and others. It is well known that the best tippers are the folks who used to wait tables and were servers. The people who give lemonade to ditch diggers, you can bet they once dug a ditch. The best police were the best delinquents. They know all the tricks. And the best friends are the ones who go through your struggles with you. We should ultimately try to do that most difficult thing. And I hope you're better at this than I am. That most difficult thing is to show the most compassion for the ones who are the most abused and cannot overcome their emotional scars. We become more able to understand the advice of James once we begin this process. The advice of James in the first chapter: be swift to hear, slow to speak, slow to anger. At our best, we move to loving our neighbor as ourselves. I think we've all heard that somewhere. We are becoming to being who we were designed to be. The spiritual being that we strive to become is the spiritual being we start out as. This sounds nonsensical in a way, but it becomes a little bit clearer when we remember that Jesus urged us to become like the small children. Retain the curiosity and the joy of being. Imagination, inspiration, and intuition start us on our journey. None of those things are particularly concrete. Divine grace helps us to overcome our mistakes and sins in our journey. There is more than what we can see in what we can be. Who you are is more than what you do. By accepting your claim to a purposeful existence, you perfect your gifts. You have an instinct to improve. Where did that come from? Your shortcomings are part of your spiritual journey. It is your journey that is the perfection. Throughout your spiritual journey, you attain compassion, you learn kindness, you gain insight and patience. And at our best, you attain Paul's virtues of love, hope, and charity that we read about in the book of Corinthians. Being and nothingness is a lonely philosophy, and it's prone to inducing fear. In that real small trio of books written by John, in the first one of those small books, in chapter 4, we read that perfect love drives out fear. You attain so much without fear. Keep on your spiritual journey. Inspiration, guidance, and God will bring you comfort and genius. Being and nothingness will be converted to being and everything. Being and everything. Claim it, act on it, and enjoy it. Amen and thank you.